sex, scandal, and rebellion. Mae West didn't just flirt with controversy, she made it her brand. In an era when women were meant to stay quiet and modest, she turned sexuality into a weapon. From jail time to banned plays, how far did Mae go to live on her terms and make the world play by her rules? This is the story of Mae West's controversial sex life. At the age of 5, Mae West was already performing at church shows, beauty concerts, and other events. Not because she was born that way, but because of her mother, Matilda. The former model turned wife was determined to live her Hollywood dream through her daughter. And by the time Mae was 14, she was already dancing in vaudeville. But that was just the beginning of what Matilda would go on to teach her daughter. When Mae dated her first boyfriend, Joseph Schneck, as a teenager, her mother told her to move on and hinted that she didn't need to be with one guy. When a voice of reason becomes a backbone for waywardness, there is no stopping what happens next. In a shocking turn of events, Mae decided that the best way to move on was to date the entire band her boyfriend belonged to. It was outrageous, but by that time, Mallory wasn't new to sex. As a preteen,
She believed that she needed to have sexual intercourse before puberty.
and when she was 13, she had sex with her 21-year-old teacher. However, many would be shocked to know that was not even her first time. The thought of being a housewife irked Mae, and she publicly talked about it. So imagine how stunned the world was to find out in 1935 that Mae was hiding not just a boyfriend, but a 24-year-long marriage. For a woman who was so openly wild and outspoken, it took the efforts of an overtime working reporter for the truth to come out. Now, how exactly did it all happen? Well, here's the story. In April 1911, just 4 months before Mae's 18th birthday, Mae eloped with Frank Wallace. They had met at vaudeville and fallen in love, or so Frank thought. Fast forward to the wedding night, and Frank awaited his bride in their hotel room. But for Mae, the hype of eloping had passed away, and it began to dawn on her that her independence was going to disappear. Everything her mother had drilled into her started to come back. That night, Mae never returned, and on the nights that followed, she would go as far as locking him up so she could go on dates. Her honeymoon never happened, and by 1913, she believed the union was done. She returned home to her mother and also met Guido de Thero. He was the first younger man Mae dated, but not the last. Just like Frank, Guido loved her hard, and they shared an intense passion. A passion so deep that it formed a child. Mae was pregnant, and for her, it was just another anchor to hold her down. When she told her mother, Matilda was not overjoyed to become a grandmother. Instead, she encouraged Mae to get rid of it. Without telling the baby's father, Mae agreed to it. But unfortunately, the procedure went wrong, and Mae's life was at risk. Mae did survive the procedure, but sadly, her life would never remain the same. She could never be a mother. Life or death matters can hardly stay a secret, so it didn't take too long for Guido to find out about what had happened to their child. Anger was an understatement. His complete exemption from the decision-making only said one thing: he was used. He broke up with Mae, the woman he had thought he could marry. But even if they had gotten married, their marriage wouldn't have been bound by law. The thing was, when Mae separated from Frank, she had forgotten to divorce him, but that was until that reporter confronted her. At first, Mae denied it. She had been with so many people that she could no longer remember saying marriage vows to someone. But Frank was done with her mind games. He came out and tried to sue her for the emotional trauma she put him through. After 7 years of back and forth, their divorce was finalized in 1942. However, long before Mae's marriage scandal hit the tabloids, her name was already a frequent topic in the news. Taking it back to the 1920s, when Mae was writing her plays, In 1926, she wrote a prostitute-themed drama titled Sex. The obscenity of the play was so much that it got her arrested later in 1927 and locked up in jail for 8 days. Later on, Mae would brag about the nice meals she had and the silk underwear she wore in prison. That should keep her in check, but it didn't. Later in 1927, her play, The Drag, was banned right before its release because the play was all about homosexuality. Mae West boldly cast real gay actors, and that move got her blacklisted from Broadway for years. The 1920s were quite fun for Mae, as she was in a relationship with Owney Madden, the killer. Owney was a notorious gangster who funded Mae's career. Their relationship was a 2-in-1 combo. It was a mix of business and romance. Owney financed Mae's plays, paid her legal fees, got her 1927 jail time shortened, and allegedly bribed jurors. It didn't help much anyway. Mae played her part, of course, and she made Owney a lot of money.
Later in the 1930s, when Owney absconded to Arkansas, they parted ways. Mae cut ties with the criminal organization, never mentioned Owney, but kept his money. Classic Mae. Maybe gangsters are sweet men because Mae West's next relationship was with George Raft. One would think that after everything Owney did for Mae, she would be loyal to him. But Owney didn't know that Mae had gotten her eyes on his bagman, George. Together, they acted on the set of Every Day's a Holiday in 1937, where George played a detective who chased Mae's con artist. The chase was so good that he ended up running after Mae off-screen, too. Their relationship lasted for decades. It was so strong that in the 1970s, when George was struggling financially, Mae reportedly loaned him money. Mae's 1927 arrest was not her first arrest. At age 18, Mae did the hip-swiveling shimmy dance move that got her arrested several times. Like the super supportive mother that Matilda was, she stood by her hip-moving daughter and defended her. Mother and daughter shared an unbreakable bond, so when Matilda passed away, Mae's heart broke into pieces. That same year, she moved into her apartment where she'd go on to live the rest of her life. Maybe her grief made her much, much wilder because nobody was ready for what comes next, like her sleeping with an entire football team in a night. In 1933, during a press jamboree, Mae mentioned having dinner with the USC football team. From there, different narratives were born. However, it was proven that she attended the party, flirted shamelessly, and had her arms between two players. Mae did not deny the rumors because she loved being in the headlines, so she let them run with the narratives. Many would say the football rumors were Mae's biggest scandal, but not when her fling with middleweight boxing champion Gorilla Jones exists. Mae met Jones just after he won his title. Their affair was rough and raw, just how Mae liked it. It was a one and only relationship that lasted 6 months between 1933 to 1934. Rumors that they'd hook up any and everywhere, in her private car, during his fights, at clubs, and once at the police station. Mae loved their relationship so much that when her apartment wouldn't let him in because of colorism, she bought the entire building. During their affairs, Jones was married to a black showgirl. Of course, it didn't matter to Mae. Their relationship didn't end until Jones's wife threatened to sue Mae for homewrecking. It was a big deal in Hollywood. Later on, Jones claimed Mae faked her orgasms. Of course, Mae never forgave him, and in her memoir, she called him a wildcat who forgot his place. Mae also preferred her men to be muscular, just like Paul Novak, formerly known as Chester Rubinsky. However, her relationship with Chester wasn't like others. Their relationship was fascinating, engaging, and beautiful. Paul eventually became the love of her life. Mae was 61 years old when she met the 31-year-old former professional wrestler. He was her employee, but more, he was her lover, bodyguard, chauffeur, chef, and caretaker. How much could he have loved Mae to give up his wrestling career just to devote himself to her? Of course, their relationship had problems too. In 1964, after a series of arguments with Mae's siblings, he walked out of their home, threatening to join the Merchant Marine. However, the prodigal child always came back home, so it didn't take long for Novak to return. When Mae was on her deathbed, Novak remained by her side, caring for her. However, actual love cost not even a dime, as he got only $10,000 from her will. He sued and won $91,000, but his heart remained broken after her death. According to Mae West, personality is the glitter that sends your little gleam across the footlights and the orchestra pit into that big black space where your audience is. She thrived on breaking news. She enjoyed being discussed, whether good or bad, as long as she was making headlines. And as she famously purred, "I used to be Snow White, but I drifted."
Which part of Mae West's story stands out the most for you? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates. While you're still here, click the video on your screen for more celebrity videos.